Enjoying this ride today. Beautiful weather. Heading up north and west of Atlanta in search of some more good roads. And I was watching one of my subs the other day, One Up, Four Down, mentioned something about naps and about napping and how his children used to take naps, and how as he's gotten older he's started to enjoy taking naps too. Well, I get my desire for napping from my father. I get it. It was natural. It was trained into me. I think from the time that I was old enough to notice, I realized that my dad never watched more than about 5 minutes of any television program that we ever had on at our house. You'd look over and he had this real nice little armchair with a footstool, and he'd have one foot up on the stool and one on the floor, and have his arm up, have his supporting his chin with his hand, and be watching TV, and the next thing you know, he'd be gone. Look over there and he'd get a little snore out of him every now and then. But he worked hard, and he was an older dad. Kind of like me, like I was, and I guess I still am. But I gotta tell you, I enjoy my naps. When I was working, I had a real long drive every day, sometimes always at least an hour and 15 minutes. It could be an hour and a half. And when I wasn't riding the motorcycle, and I want to stress this, when I wasn't riding the motorcycle to work, of course I'd be driving in the car. And I used to nap quite a bit, I must admit. Now, I tried to keep all my napping to stoplights, but I can't promise you that I always did. But what would happen, I'd pull up to a long stoplight, and I'd be there behind somebody or something, and I'm just sitting there thinking about stuff, listening to the radio, and unless something was really engaging on the radio, next thing I know, I'd be asleep. And I'm sitting there asleep, sitting still, holding on the brake. And I'm not really deep asleep. I mean, I'm just barely asleep, you know? I mean, just, if I were any less asleep, I'd be awake, you know what I mean? And I'd be sitting there, and I gotta tell you, you never know about people, but I gotta tell you, the people on my route back and forth to work were the nicest people in the world. Every time that light would change, if they noticed that I was still sleeping, they'd give me a friendly little toot on the horn and wake me up so that I could continue on. And they were great about that. They did that almost every single time I fell asleep. And I really appreciated it. You know, and they used to wave at me every now and then when they would pass me later on, and sometimes they would just use one finger, to wave at me, and that was okay too. I didn't care. I knew what they really meant. I knew they appreciated that I was driving safely, and that I did move along once they woke me up again. But I'm real bad at home about napping too. It gets to the right time in the afternoon, especially after my lovely wife maybe has fixed me a nice lunch or something, and next thing I know, I am out. So the baby and I can sit there and enjoy a nice afternoon snoozing. And she's real good about waking me up. When the baby thinks it's time for me to wake up and feed her or play with her or, something like that, she'll let me know. And I think that's great. That's a great thing about naps. Everybody understands naps. Everybody loves naps, even babies. So if you don't nap, and I know some people don't. My wife always had terrific problem napping, and there's a secret to it. And I'm going to share the secret with you. I know I won't get in trouble for this. When you nap, when you first start napping, don't lay down. Don't get in a real comfortable position. Oh, what do we got here? Something's going on up here. Okay, well, we'll finish this up here just a bit. What you want to do when you're napping, you want to get like in an armchair or something like that, maybe a rocker or something where you're pretty much sitting up. You won't you want it to, what you want to happen is when you start a nap, you want your head to fall forward. You don't want it to fall backwards. You don't want to have something really, really comfortable to put your head back against. You want to lean forward. And I find that only lets me nap for 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 at the most, before I'll wake up. And those are the naps that do you so much good. If you get too comfortable and you're not used to napping, what's going to happen is you're going to sleep. You're going to go really to sleep. You're going to go in a deep, deep sleep. And what's going to happen is you're going to sleep for 20, 30 minutes. And you're going to wake up and you're going to feel really bad because you got to sleep. You went too deeply to sleep. And it's hard to wake up from that. You got to, sleep is in stages. You start out light and you worked into a real deep, what do they call it, REM sleep. And then you work your way back out of it. And, that's just all part of it. You want to do that. That's what you do at night. But, in the day, when you take a nap, you've got to be able, you don't want to feel bad. You want to wake up refreshed. So, that's what that's about. Oh, well, looks like I'm going to be stuck here just for a little while. So it looks like I don't know if there's a problem up on the road or really what's going on. But we'll log off for now. Talk to you again in a little bit. Okay, on this good road, driving on Audistaireville, AD8, let's see, Adairsville, I don't know, road, headed toward the mountains, and for some reason traffic has stopped, and some cars are going by every now and then, and we've been stopped for a few minutes, and suddenly we've started moving a little bit, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all the way up to it, but I thought I would just have the camera on just in case it's something that I'd want to share with you. I don't know whether it's construction or really what. I'm cheap, so I haven't never updated my GPS unit. It's an old unit, and it doesn't have a lot of the newer roads on it. And but I didn't get the traffic feature, and you got to pay every month for that. And I'm just, like I said, I don't use it very often. It just isn't worthwhile for me to do that. So I'll looks like we've slowed down again, so people are slowing down. Let me log out again, and I'll come back on.